Welcome to Asha Tutorials. In this tutorial, we are going to install and configure Python and Pycharm. These are the contents of this video. So let's begin with installing Python on Linux. First, we will check the Python 3 version available on the Linux machine. So this is the command Python 3 version, which will return the currently Python 3 version installed on the machine. Now, before installing Python, we need to make sure the required tools are installed. So this command will install all the required tools in order to install Python. Now go to this website and it will list all the Python version which are available, which you can install. And by clicking on this link, it will take you to the folder where the installation files are stored. And make sure that you are choosing a version which is a stable, not the alpha and beta release. After choosing the version, execute these commands which will install the Python. And in order to install a particular version, you need to just replace the version in these commands. For example, 3.8.3 with your target Python version, which will install the required Python version. Now, after installing, you can verify the installation by typing Python and the version number which you have installed in order to verify. If the Python is installed successfully, it will enter into the Python command shell where you can execute the Python statement. Now we will check the interpreter location by typing these two statements, import sys and print sys.executable, which will give you the path to the interpreter or the Python executable, which will be used to create a virtual environment inside Pycharm. Next is installing Python on Windows. Go to this website and it will list all the Python releases which you can download. So select the required version, Python version, which will redirect you to another page, and if you scroll down that page, it will list the files which are available for download, and download the Windows installer for Python and execute it. Now when installing, make sure you check add Python to path before installing Python version, which will automatically add the Python interpreter path to your path variable. After finishing the installation, go to the command prompt and type Python version, which will return the Python version which you have installed. And by typing Python, you will enter the Python command shell and execute the Python statement. So we will execute two Python statements. First is import sys and print sys.executable, which will return the interpreter location or the Python executable location, which will be used to configure and create a virtual environment in Pycharm. Now this will make sure that you have installed the required Python to your Windows machine. Next is installing Python on MacOs. Go to this website, which will list all the latest Python releases. Select the required version to be installed, and on that page, if you scroll down, it will list all the files available for download. Download the macOS installer and start the Python installer. After installing, it will ask you to install Python certificates using executing this install certificate commands. Double click on this file, which will automatically install all the required certificates. After finishing the setup, open the command prompt and type Python 3 version, which will return the required Python version. And by typing Python 3, you can enter the Python shell. So we will write import sys and print sys.executable, which will return the Python interpreter path or the Python executable path, which will be used to configure Pycharm and create the virtual environment. Alternatively, you can also use this path user local bin /Python version in order to configure the virtual environment in Pycharm for macOS. Next is installing Pycharm. Go to this website, which will list you the versions available to download Pycharm. Click on download community version of Pycharm and download the installer and install it. After installing Pycharm, open up the Pycharm. Click on confirm. Select the theme. And if you want to download any feature plugin, click and install it and click on start using Pycharm. Now click on create new project. Give the name of the project, and here it will automatically create a new virtual environment for you when you open it first time. And here in base interpreter, it will list all the interpreters available on the machine. If your installed Python version is not listed here, you can manually set the interpreter path as we have obtained earlier. Just copy that path and paste it here and click on OK. Now we have set the path of Python interpreter. Now we have configured the virtual environment. Click on create, which will create a new Python project as well as virtual environment to execute our Python program. So as you can see here, Python project is created. Now right click on project, click on new, and here you can create a new Python file or package. Give the name of Python file. It will create a new Python file. And we will verify the virtual environment and Python console by simply typing a print statement hello world and press Alt, Shift and E to execute in the Python console. So it will open up the Python console. and it has executed the hello world. So our virtual environment is created successfully. And here we can see the Python version. Now to customize the PyCharm, go to File, Settings, go to Editor, select Font. Here we can assign the custom font and size of the font. Click on Apply to make changes. We can also customize the color schema for particular category. So for example, in order to change the color of line comment, just uncheck inherit value from and select color, which will change the color of a particular category. Click on Apply to make changes. In key map, we can assign the custom shortcuts. So here we have added 3 custom shortcuts. First is for hiding active tool window. So in order to assign custom shortcut, right click on a particular item and click on add keyboard shortcut, and inside it press the shortcut you want to assign and click on OK. It will assign a new shortcut for that particular item. So in order to hide active tool window, we have assigned a custom shortcut. Second custom shortcut is for Python console. So for opening Python console, we have assigned this shortcut, and for clearing the content of console, we have assigned this shortcut. Now in order to change the view mode of the Python console, click on settings icon, go to view mode and select float. So it will create a Python console in floating window. Now using our shortcut assigned, we can now clear the content of console, close the console and open the console. So that brings us to end of the video.